Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Kelly and this is my veggie garden. We are just about at the end of October and we are over the halfway point into spring in my climate. So I thought I was well and truly overdue to do a mid-spring garden tour. So today I just wanted to take you for a walk around the garden, show you what I've got growing, but also share with you some of the trials that I've faced so far this growing season. So grab a cup of tea, stick around, and I've got a lot to show you today, which I'm very excited about. In this area of the garden, I have some tomatoes growing, and the variety that I've got in this garden bed here is called San Marzano. Now, the San Marzano is an indeterminate variety of tomato, so it grows like a vine, which needs to be trellised, which is why I have these strings here, which are called tomahawks. I'm going to be trellising them using the tomahawk system, which I've just got clipped onto a wire running along the top connected to some star posts, and the string just runs down and is connected to my irrigation down below. As the tomato plants grow, I will keep attaching them to the string, and so far the majority of them are looking really good. I planted these out probably a few weeks ago now, and originally I did have some Roma tomatoes in this bed. I think I did mention that in a video. However, I ended up losing those plants, unfortunately, to a snap frost, which I was really upset about, but at the end of the day, there was a silver lining, and I was able to plant this variety, which I was able to fit double the amount in this garden bed, which was a blessing in disguise. So in total, I think I've got about 64 San Marzano plants in this garden bed. This bed here is about 10 meters long, and I've got them in 2 rows. Now, they are planted quite close together at about 30 centimeters apart. Now, in the grand scheme of things, yes, that is quite close for tomato plants to be planted at. Ideally, probably 60 centimeters is a good distance, but I usually plant my tomato plants close at 30 centimeters apart, and as long as I'm very thorough with the pruning, I don't tend to have any problems. So it is going to be a big job. I've got 64 tomato plants here, and I've got some other varieties elsewhere in the garden, so I think I've got well and truly over 100 tomato plants this season. So it is going to be a big job pruning them. I just will have to make sure I put some time aside each day or each couple of days just to come out and check on the plants. Now, the majority of the plants here are doing really well. I did, however, lose a few of the plants. I think it may have been to bugs, but I can't be certain. They didn't exactly look the best when I planted them in, but I do have some backups just here in the pots behind me, so I will probably plant those out this afternoon. I don't tend to plant out any plants in the garden in the morning or the middle of the day. I like to wait until the afternoon. That way they have the overnight to recover from being transplanted, and I think that's worked pretty well for me the majority of the time. I've put down some diatomaceous earth around the base of each tomato plant, as I have had a bug issue just in the next garden bed over with my pumpkins, which I'll explain in just a moment. Now, I do think it has helped, although like I said, I have lost a few plants to the bugs, but I think if I didn't put the diatomaceous earth down, it probably would be a lot more severe. The bugs seem to be quite bad so far this season, and we're only really at the start of the growing season. We've still got a lot longer to go. And the weather's been really odd as well. So I hope that the bug pressure decreases over the season, but I guess we'll just have to see how it goes. I'm in one of the netted areas of my garden where I've got some more tomato plants growing, and the variety that I've got going in here is called Tomito, which is a big cherry variety of tomato that is absolutely delicious. I think in total there may be around 30 or 35 plants in this space, and once again I do have them planted at around 30 centimeters apart. I'm also trellising them using the tomahawks as well. Now, last year I grew tomatoes in this space over the summer, and our summers here get ridiculously hot that a lot of the plants were starting to suffer. So I did have to cover this area with some shade cloth. So there is permanent shade cloth above me, and then I've only just installed the netting at the beginning of winter when I was growing some broccoli in here. Now, I decided to grow my tomatoes in here again last year because, like I said, with the capsicums, we do tend to get fruit fly, but we also get a bug called a shield bug or a stink bug, and they love to attack my tomatoes as well. The tomatoes don't tend to get attacked as the bigger varieties, which I'll show you. I've got one growing in the next netted area, but I thought it would be a good experiment to grow them in the netted area just to see the difference in the amount of kilos I'm harvesting from these plants when they are surrounded with netting rather than out in the open. Now, this variety, well, all of the varieties of tomatoes that I'm growing in the garden are heirloom varieties, so they are open pollinated, which means that they can be pollinated by the wind. They don't need to have insects coming in and pollinating them, so I am able to have them in this netted area, and we'll get tomatoes. We've actually got some of the plants starting to grow little tomatoes, and honestly, these plants have just shot up so fast since I planted them out. I was able to get them out a bit earlier than the San Marzanos because, like I said, this does have shade cloth over it, which was acting as as protection for the frost. So we were able to get these ones out a bit earlier than the other variety, which is why they are so big. They're nearly reaching the top of of this structure. So they've grown so fast. Now, as they continue to grow, I will have to come out here and be pretty strict with the pruning. I'm a little bit behind at the moment. As you can see, they are quite bushy. And these guys here, they are called suckers. I'm going to be pruning off all of the suckers, potting them up, and I will get free tomato plants. Now, if you're not familiar with how to clone your tomato plants by cutting off the suckers, I did do a video on that. It was actually one of my first videos that I filmed for YouTube. I'll make sure I pop the link in the description as well if you'd like to check that out. But I probably will be filming another video on pruning tomatoes sometime this season, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be notified when that video goes live as well. I'm in the second netted area of the garden, so it's very similar to the one that I just showed you where I've got my tomatoes growing. It is covered in shade cloth, it's surrounded with insect netting, and I've got more tomatoes growing in this space as well. The variety that I've got growing in here is once again an heirloom open pollinated variety. It is called Gros Lizzie, and it is more like the standard type of tomato that you would see in the supermarket. They can get quite decent in size and they have a beautiful flavour. So these tomatoes are probably going to be our slicing tomatoes. However, if we do have too many to eat fresh, then I'll probably put them with my paste tomatoes and use them in sauces or salsas, things like that. But that's all for today, guys. I hope you all really enjoyed this mid-spring veggie garden tour. If you do have any questions or comments, please make sure you write them down below, as I will always read the comments and get back to you as well. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button, share the video around, and subscribe to my channel, as that's going to help my channel to grow so I can reach more people and encourage people to start growing their own garden and start growing their own food. Well, I hope you can get out into your gardens today to enjoy this beautiful sunshine, and I will see you all on the next one. See ya!